Oh, cool. Sisirahin ko pa, no? Pero ang cool, pang shoot talaga siya. So, either side pwede mong buksan for, you know, for aesthetics. Pero, syempre, ito talaga yung panalo. Vintage stuff. Sa puso. Ang cool. Hello? Syempre, hindi naman ganun humawak. Nahiya lang ako. Nahiya pa pala ako. Pero yun, anyway, this is supposed to be a house tour. Medyo natutuwa lang talaga kami kasi ang cool. Ay, halatang kinikilig. Okay, let's start the house tour. Today we'll be going around an art enthusiast's home. In fact, you may have recognized this from certain shoots or even certain shows that you might have seen before. And this is in Quezon City, a very prime area near Miriam and UP. But first, make sure you hit like, click subscribe, and click on the bell so you get notified for whenever we release new YouTube videos. We're on Facebook, so make sure you hit like and see first, and follow us on Instagram at Presello_official. My name is Julia, and welcome to another Presello open house tour. So this is quite the facade, right? Now this home was carefully and lovingly built. Kumbaga, nadadagdagan siya as the years wore on because the homeowner actually has a talent and a skill for metal work. So you'll see in a bit what I mean. But this is the first example. So initially, the gate and the house was the facade. But now, the facade includes this beautiful metal work, which again was handmade by the owner. Okay, so that now serves as the pedestrian gate. And this is your vehicle gate. Both gates are double locked for safety, of course. That's not to say that this area isn't safe, because it really is. It is in a gated subdivision. It's very quiet and very, kumbaga, out of the way siya, hindi siya nadadaanan. So, nice and quiet. Okay, so you can park one vehicle here, one inside if you wanted to, and then basically the rest of like this entire row on the street is available for guest parking. Okay, now that, just admire that huge gate because it's really something, isn't it? And then this, like, I can't believe the owner made this by hand. That is so impressive to me. Okay, let's go in. So upon entering here, we have your, it's kind of like a foyer, except it's not interior, obviously. So it's your welcoming garden, you could say. On the ground, you'd be able to see some pressed papaya leaves, which again, the owner did himself. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so from here you can see adobe walls and two gates. We'll go through both of them, but for now, let's go through this one first. Just look at all of the detail of this ironwork. And then through this door. So everything is adobe basically, right? You don't need to paint anything. It's already beautiful as is. And it kind of gives you that feel of a castle. More on that in a bit. Okay, so in here we have a more proper porch or entry point, a foyer. And this door, this very elaborate door, look at that carving, leads to, well, your house. But we're not gonna go through this one, not yet. I just wanted to show you this exterior or this garden area. So behind your massive gate, you have this area, which again, you could turn into a carport, but if you didn't need it, as they have done right now, it is a garden. So you can see the collections and all of the plants. And by the way, the entire place is landscaped. So these, the ones that you saw in front, and then these, again, hands of the owner, and of course with some help from other artists as well. And when I say artists, I also mean landscape artists or gardeners. So in here we have some decorative pieces, like a very, like, full of character bathtub, just for, you know, just as an art piece here in the garden. But speaking of art piece, check out the rails. They're not your standard rails, are they? So they are in the shape of a staff with musical notes. That way the rails curve and have this flowing motion. And you know what else has flowing motion? The downspout. This one. So that's your downspout from the gutters, right? Then your water will flow here and then down there. So instead of it just going straight down, the owner wanted to keep that continuity with the motion and the curves. And that follows suit all the way down to the basement, which we'll get to later. So I just want you to remember this area so you don't get lost. Okay, so we'll go back the front garden. It's kind of like walking through a secret garden, to be honest. I mean, just look at all of this garden, this landscaping. You have a lot of stone pieces as well as ironwork or metalwork. You have a lion door knocker, of course. And here it's another entrance of sorts. Actually, every area, and I mean every area of this house, pwedeng pang photo shoot. I'm not even kidding. Like this, for example. Can you imagine sitting here? Instant backdrop. The stairs, instant backdrop. This arc and metalwork, instant backdrop. Everything. Even those are so interesting to look at. So there are iron steps in there. So we can't really go there now, but just looking at it from here, it's very interesting because this entire area kind of gives you a feeling of a courtyard. Right? So before we go through that, just wanted to show you this one. Ito talaga. Nice art piece. And even the ones up top over there. Okay, so anyways, it's easy to get distracted when you're in this house actually because there are so many things to look at. Okay, so beside your main entrance, yes, that is the main entrance to the house. You have here steps that lead down again to the basement. And again, the walls are adobe on either side. That is a jet. For some reason, we're in Quezon City. And from here you can see more of the art or of the owner's collections. More art pieces, things that you probably want to shoot, use in a shoot, to be honest. So that's how I feel. It's very well, yes, they are genuine. They are like actual. Some of the pieces here are legitimately centuries old. Okay, here is another metalwork, again made by the owner. Just appreciate that because this was all done by hand, by him. And then we have a few steps up, the terracotta flooring, and then this. This is the main entrance to the house. What does it remind you of? Well, from the chandelier, to the adobe walls, the cornerstone or keystone, the rosettes. Kind of reminds you of a castle, right? Kind of does. I know it reminded me of one, and it will not disappoint that when you enter, you legitimately do feel like you just entered a castle, albeit a smaller scale Philippine-sized castle, but it's still a castle. That's so cool. So there are so many things to look at here alone. Okay, so you have seating over here. You've got these classic walls. Oh my goodness, these are cork bricks. Then you have layers here for storage and display. You can get up the balcony via one of the rooms. You'll see it in a bit. And then let me just circle around. Then up here, you can see more of the artwork. So if you like to collect art, this is one really nice area for you to display your pieces. Okay. So from this receiving area, right, we have 2 steps down in here, and this is your living area. So it's nice and cozy. You have, of course, a lot of seating. Again, the centerpiece, repurposed by the owner. So a lot of things here were handmade. The paintings, though, are not included in the house. Okay, the paintings and the artworks, they are not included. But of course, the ones like the metalworks, nandun na yun, nakakabit na yan eh. So it is included in the house. And the architecture, of course. And speaking of the architecture, just look at the ceiling designs. We've got some nice beams over here. Your chandelier has those really intricate details. Actually, the chandelier itself has really nice, intricate details. And your grills. Some of you might think that these are old-fashioned. To me, personally, if you put this in a modern house, it's still gonna look modern. Look at how nicely made this is. That is timeless. That kind of design or grill work doesn't go out of style. And then here, you have a space to display your vase or your jars. Okay, so before we head back, just wanted to point out that this door is the one that we saw earlier that led from the carport. So yan para lang di kayo malito. So this is the door that leads to the living area. Okay, so let's go back up. The receiving area. Okay, so now from here you can either go up the stairs to the bedrooms or down to the service area. So let's go down here first. There are a lot of things about this house actually. So yeah, the house was technically bought many years ago, but things like this one, for example, came from the owner's original house. Things like that. So he added on to it and made it, more custom. And he made sure that the little details and art pieces that he wanted, he placed in here. Or they as a family. So here we have the family area. So it's where the TV is, it's where they hang out, and it's right next to the kitchen, which of course is the heart of the home. Oh, these chairs are so cute. Look at this. It's very Picasso-like. So anyways, so you have a bar over here, your sink, your provision for your refrigerator, and the most charming stove area I have seen in a while. This is just so cute. Right? It's nice and red, very London or fire truck red. It's a solid pop of color from everything else, so it draws your attention. Okay. And then here on the other side, we have the staff quarters. It also has its own toilet and bath. So we're not gonna go in there anymore though, because the dogs are there. We don't want to disturb them. And then here, I'm just gonna show you, we have a dirty kitchen. So there's a sink over here with a stove, the washing machine, and then this area is nakanet siya basically. And then outside is another garden space or lanai that we will get to later. Love bricks. I'll always have a thing for bricks. I don't know, it's just one of those things that's so Like it's been used for decades, but I feel like it still needs to be used in the next coming decades. All right, so you would think that, yun na yun, right? You would think that this is storage. Oh, you'd be surprised. So this one is actually kind of a tunnel. It was built later on, and they used materials from, again, the owner's previous house. So they decided to repurpose it, use it here, so that you could have access to, wait for it, the den. So it's a nice little secret, or at least it feels like a bit of a secret, because from the kitchen you can then go here, and this is where the collections are. So the paintings, the artworks. Okay, I'm not gonna point out which ones the owners actually did, etc. But yeah, you have the collections here, and a lot of really vintage pieces, like your your typewriter. So these aren't just, you know, art for art's sake. These are authentic vintage items. And some of them, again, the owners made themselves, like this and this. A London-style photo booth. phone booth, which people turn into a photo booth, like you guys. They were taking photos here earlier. I mean, can you blame them? All right, from here, you're then led to the guest area. So over here we have guest bedroom, or a guest bedroom. So you have this much space, you have some very interesting pieces, of course. And then this was also made by the owners. And it's often used in photo shoots, to be perfectly clear or honest with you guys. So this is, again, the guest bedroom. And then over here is their sort of service area. So it's a nice and open area, it's nice and breezy. Naka-screen lang yung area, so you know you don't let the bugs in. Then there's a sink, and although it doesn't show obviously in the video, ang bango dito. That was the first thing that we noticed when we went here. It's very aromatic, like lemongrass. And then here on the other side we have a toilet and bath. Now yeah, this particular toilet and bath is quite modern compared to the other areas, because ito yung pinahuling ginawa. But they still, of course, tried to make it blend in with the rest. Cute dito, lalo na pag maulan, no? Tas yung view mo, yung garden lang, tas drizzling. Okay. So from your guest area, you can then go to your backyard. So again, your backyard is just photo shoot heaven. Every angle is such an aesthetic. Okay, so you have this area. It's a nice seating area with some aesthetic jars, old jars. And then, oops, baka makita. Oh, chimes. Sorry, baka masakit sa mic yun. Right. And then this area, of course, with the stairs. How many times have you seen like debuts and weddings and prenups that use stairs like this? And even that side with the ironwork naman. So ito stone stairs, yung isa iron stairs. Oh, and check these out. So these, napansin ko lang kasi naglalakad kami dito kanina, and I recognize these. These are the ones that you see in Tomas Morato, Visayas Avenue. These are recycled blocks. So yeah, I've personally seen these being made a few years, not a few, okay, that's a joke, like about 10 years ago. So I did a project and I saw them make these things, and it's really fascinating. So if you guys know about that, how these things are made, let us know in the comments below. Okay, and then let's head up the stairs. So every now and then you will see these pieces, right? These handmade pieces, and it's never blank in this house. There's always something going on visually or aesthetically or even physically, like stairs. Okay, so clearly the owners aren't just into art, they're also into plants, woodwork, metalwork. Basically, everything they touch, they try to incorporate art in it. Everything that they collect is art in it. It's sentimental, it's beautiful. Okay, so up here we have a lanai. It's covered though. And you have a lot of art pieces here that again can be used for your, like this one for example. I mean, just look at this. Can you not imagine something very whimsical in here? Hindi lang bagay yung suot ko, obviously, but just imagine. And you have here a nice 3-seater sofa made out of a bathtub. Pretty interesting. Okay, so this area. So you have a nice, again, seating area here, very chill. You have a huge chandelier as your centerpiece. But just in case you weren't able to recognize, that is the dirty kitchen. So from here, well, I don't know about you guys, but the first time I passed by this area, I didn't recognize that that was the dirty kitchen. I don't know, I guess I was just mesmerized by the mirrors, the chandelier, the doorways. Hindi ko siya napansin. But yeah, now looking at it, it's like, oh, it's pretty clever. And it's not bare, you still have, again, metalwork in here. And then on this side, other side, of course, again, you have more of the art. You have grills, handmade, of course, by the owners. And then cathedral stained glass windows over there. Obviously more for aesthetic reasons, more for art, more for, they make for great leading lines, right, for photography. And then just look at how the sun shines through this area. So depending on the time of day, this area could look completely different. So right now ito yung tama ng araw, and it's just, you can just imagine someone sitting there and having a cup of tea and you taking a photo of them. It's gonna look so nice. Okay, so do you recognize this area? Yep, these are the steps with the curved banisters. So this is what the steps look like. So this is what the steps look like, and that is the view from here going up. Para siyang ano, no? It's like floating garden ba? Parang, diba? It looks like a painting. Actually looks like a game. You see a lot of floating plants with trailing, well, plants. Ito na naman tayo, lumalabas na naman yung fact na wala akong alam-alam sa halaman. But it's so beautiful. Okay, so back out in the garden, let's go back in the living room. So that we can go up the bedroom. Okay, so now we're back at the receiving area, and we can now head up to the second floor. So again, some key decor, some key pieces. This one was something that the owner had in his bedroom in his youth. So they used it still. Okay, so up here, well, let me just admire this kasi since nalandingan na ng mata ko, diba? Check out the wallpaper. It's not just white, it actually has texture. It's kind of like fabric. It's a white creamish and gold. Okay, so here we have bedroom number 1. So it's kind of French this time. It's not quite as Intramuros-like or as Pinto Museum like. Oh, that's a fun fact, by the way. It's not Pinto Museum, it's Pinto Museum. Just so you know. Comment down below if you knew that. Okay, so you have this much space. You have 2 windows on 2 of the walls. Lots of storage on this side. And then check this out. You have a window that peers down the receiving area. So yeah, you can actually open this and then check who the visitors are, so you don't have to leave here without knowing if there are people down there or not. And then this is the door that leads to the balcony. So just to refresh you guys, that balcony is that one, where the bust is and other decorative and china pieces are. Okay, dito muna tayo. So in here, you have bedroom number 2. So you have a bigger space. Well, actually, no, it's not necessarily bigger. It's just a different configuration. You have lots of storage, but you do have one window that's definitely much bigger. And you again have the nice grill. Excuse me. Hopefully you can see it. You can also see your neighbor's red roof, but it's nice. So again, with the nice grills that I mentioned earlier. And then more of the decorative pieces. So cute. Oops. Then you have a built-in desk over here. Although there are personal items, I'm not quite sure if we should focus on that. Yeah, the room that we just passed is the shared toilet and bath for both bedrooms 1 and 2. So bedroom number 3, aka the master bedroom, which also has an ensuite toilet and bath. Okay, now the master bedroom obviously has much more expansive space, right? You have a window here that peers over your main entrance. So obviously you can't see it now because there are vertical blinds, but you have a window there. And then you have some display storage atop your headboard, so, or rather, you know, as an overhead cabinet. And then here you have a bay window. Well, sort of. It's not a built-in bay window, but it is a bay window with a daybed. So you have a nice view of your backyard. If you can see it, which you can't because obviously curtains, but I can. Okay. So that is it for the bedrooms and the second floor. Now, while... Okay, so another thing I just want to point out, because I saw it. Just look at the ceiling. Look at how that is shaped. That is so nice. This area definitely has that castle vibe. Okay, so as I was saying before, I rudely interrupted myself. As much as I want to talk about every single detail in here, like the adobe walls, the art, the flooring, the vintage items, and the things that used to come from the old house and transported here, the things that were made here, this is it for the actual house tour. Although comment down below if you really enjoyed this one. Okay, so let us know. And that being said, though, it's time for a recap. So let us do it. Okay, let's do it in the den. So again, let's go down here, since this was really cool. And everyone loved going down the den. Okay, let's sit down here. Right, so you have 425 square meters of lot area, and then more or less about 250 square meters of floor area. 3 bedrooms, 4 toilet and baths. You have a guest area with a guest bedroom, a gorgeous front garden, and then a backyard, a lanai, a dirty kitchen, a formal kitchen with that really adorable fire engine red cooking area. And then basically the entire house is just, it's like going through a museum. Granted, you're not gonna get the house with all of the goodies like this one, like the collections. This is gonna remain with the owners, but still, imagine what you could do. And again, this house is near Visayas Avenue. It's near Katipunan. So you can just imagine how nice this area is. And on top of that, it is inside a subdivision. So if you or anyone you know is interested in a place like this, send this video to them. Or if you want to see it for yourself, send us a message or go to our website at www.presello.com. Invest in your future. Invest with us. Invest with Presello. Also, we have a hotline, so you might want to give that a ring. Hey guys, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, make sure you click here. And if you want to see more house tour videos, click right here. And we also have this new thing called Working Lunch with Presello, where I and a few random people talk about a few random things related to real estate. So if you want to join in on the conversation, make sure you click right here.